What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within, and at this point we are now 2 days away from the launch of the War Within, if you have the early access that is, and if you don't have the early access you can watch me play the early access live on Twitch, where I'll be streaming pretty much every single day at the launch itself as well, and going full ham and cheese, full blasting, playing the absolute ever-living, I don't even know, I'm going to be playing the launch a lot and doing a lot of gold making at the launch itself and setting myself up for future gold making as well. And in today's video we're talking about a brand new gold making strategy. Well, brand new is just a new way of thinking about gold making and a new strategy that I have been incorporating and that I have now put into a spreadsheet and I'll be doing at the launch itself. Now I will say this goldmaking strategy is probably not something you will do on your main, but it's going to be for your alt, so if you have any alt armies ready to go for the War Within, this will be very relevant to you, and you can use the same strategy we're using here for multiple professions. I'm going to be specifically talking about blacksmithing plus alchemy here, but we're talking about concentration usage, and how you can use your daily concentration to make a bunch of gold on a daily basis, basically turning any profession into pseudo-dailies. Even though the crafts themselves are not daily, you can use your concentration to make gold on a daily basis. Now, real quick, before we talk about the goldmaking strategy itself, we are once again 2 days away from the launch of the War Within, and I do have a War Within Goldmaking Guide, which I'm going to shout out real quick right now before we talk about the actual goldmaking strategy. So if you haven't checked it out yet, there's a link to this guide down below, and the thing is, I could talk for minutes about why I think it's a great product, but my opinion on this is very biased. It's my guide after all, I'm the one who made the guide. I'm just going to say, take a look at the reviews on the guide itself for a third-person perspective. Basically not my opinion, but someone who bought the guide and left a review on the guide. You can check out what they have to say before buying it as well on the website. And at the moment I've gotten tens of positive messages from people that bought the guide that are basically really happy about it and telling me that they were not expecting it to be that in-depth and that good and that easy to understand and also visually pleasing. Now, when I make guides myself, I take pride in making them as good as I can. Like, I want these guides to be the absolute best version that they can be, and I try to provide as much value as I can when making these guides. That is why, for example, when you buy the guide, you get access to a gold making Discord server at the same time, which is where I give you guys early access to videos and exclusive videos. Right now, for example, we have 4 videos in exclusive access. That means when you buy this guide right here, you get the guide first of all, but you also get access to 4 videos that are private, that will never be public on YouTube, that you will also get access to. In addition to that, we have early access for 3 more videos that will be gradually released after the launch has come out, that you can take advantage of when the launch is here, showing you different gold farms and gold making strategies for the launch itself. So 4 videos in exclusive access and 3 in early access, and I will keep making a bunch of these videos in the launch as well. Like a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, I will do my very best to keep you up to date, to make you as much gold as I can, and I'm just gonna say, this guide is meant for those of you who actually want to make gold. If you want to make a couple 100,000 gold, I'm just gonna say you're better off buying WoW tokens. I'm not afraid to say that. Like, if you want to make a couple 100,000 gold, buy 1 or 2 WoW tokens and you will have the gold instantly. But if you want to make anything more than 4 WoW tokens worth of gold, I would, for example, buy 2 WoW tokens and then buy my guide. That way you can use the gold from 2 WoW tokens and have my guide to probably make 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 WoW tokens worth of gold by taking that startup gold you got from 2 tokens and applying the tips and tricks from the guide to multiply the gold you already have. Or you can just buy the guide, do the farms, get the gold organically, and then use the gold to make even more gold as well. So once again, if you just want to have a couple WoW tokens worth of gold, buy the WoW tokens, but it's a difference between buying a fish or learning how to fish and selling someone, teaching a man how to fish, versus buying a fish. If you want to have 1 or 2 fish, just go and buy the fish. If you want to have 1,000 fish, you might want to learn how to fish. Now that was a long sellout for the guide itself, and I will do my best to make them shorter over time, but we are 2 days away from the launch, and I'm just gonna say the earlier you buy the guide, the more value you get from the purchase as well, so that's why I'm trying to push this, and I want to help you as much as I can when it comes to gold making, and I truly believe this guide is a great product, and once again, the earlier you have it, the more value you get back from having it as well. Now, let's talk about how I'm thinking about gold making, especially for blacksmithing plus alchemy, but gold making in general. Now, I have set up a character here, which is a Solheim alloy character, focused on crafting alloys. Now, in this case, we have spent a bunch of knowledge points to make alloys at the absolute highest quality we can, and this will take a bunch of knowledge points. We have spent 80 knowledge points into means of production to max out alloy crafting right here for max skill points for alloys. This one also gives you skill points for alloys, and this one also gives you skill points for alloys. In addition, the last two here gives you multi-craft for alloys as well, and you also want to go into Ever-Burning Forge, and the reason for that is that you will get this one right here, which gives you stats when you proc the Ever-Burning Forge, right? It will give you multicraft, ingenuity, and resourcefulness from the main one, and then you can specialize into right here, either multicraft, or resourcefulness, or ingenuity. So here, this is an alloy crafting character, and basically how I would make gold on this is by proccing the Ever-Burning Forge, which we have right now. This one gives me 230 ingenuity, 230 multicraft, and 255 resourcefulness. Now, when using a forge, this gives you a 30-minute buff. That is basically a 30-minute crafting window where you want to smelt as many alloys as you can. Now, you can take a look at my equipment and accessories. We have full blue tools. This will be a lot of degen work early on if you want to have this early, or you will have to wait a couple of weeks to get the amount of acuity you need to get all of these recipes. You basically need 900 artisan's acuity to craft these, which you can get really early, by the way, by doing a little bit of degening, but if you're doing weekly quests and stuff like that, getting it the normal way, it will take you a couple of weeks, but that's still fine. Now, when it comes to crafting alloys, this is a hefty skill requirement. Even after putting in this one right here would be this would be 100 knowledge points. We have 60, 80, 100 knowledge points, and 80. So 180 knowledge points to max this out when it comes to crafting alloys. And only then, when you have all the skill points and multicraft, will you make alloys at the maximum profitability that you can. And as you can see, by crafting quality 3 here, we have to spend quality 3 materials. If I downgrade to quality 2, we are not making quality 3 anymore, and we now have to spend our concentration to get quality 3. So we would have to proc concentration to get quality 3, even with this amount of knowledge points. And the same thing goes for example, sanctified alloys. We can guarantee this at quality 3 at the moment by spending quality 3 alloys, core alloys, and quality 3 iron claw ore. Now, at the start of the expansion, quality 3 materials will be incredibly expensive. Like, quality 3 ores will be super hard to come by, so you want to make this with quality 2 ore preferably, but at the moment we are just barely over the cap. I'm even playing in Lightforged Draenei to be 5 skill points over the cap. Anyone who's not a Lightforged Draenei or a dwarf, I think it is, anyone who doesn't have a +5 blacksmithing, you will just barely have the amount of skills required by putting in all of the work that I have now put in. Like, you would have to spend all of these knowledge points right here, which is actually only 80 knowledge points, but you also need the Ever-Burning Forge to start making profit here. Now, all of this was just to show you how difficult it is to actually craft alloys at the highest quality, no matter the alloys you want to craft. The sanctified alloys requires 525 skill, the charged ones are the same, the iron claw ones are the same, and the core alloys are the same. And when putting in all of these knowledge points right here, the 80 knowledge points, and having 3 rare tools and accessories, you will just barely have the skill difficulty or the skill enough to make them at quality 3 with quality 3 materials. Now, what I propose to do here is to have a different character for crafting that is focused on spending concentration. So I've set up another character right now on the beta with how I'm intending to spend my knowledge points in the live environment to make the same alloys. So over here, we now only have 10 points spent into means of production, which you actually kind of need to spend some points here just to get a little bit of skill points, and after that you literally go and get 40, 20 and 20. So instead of spending 80 points over here to get more skill points, you just get 10 points here to get enough skill to guarantee quality 2, and then you max out multicraft and resourcefulness. These are very important stats for gold making when it comes to crafting alloys especially. And from here you can now see that we are very far away from guaranteeing quality 3 outcomes, even with a quality 3 material. And the same thing goes for the Iron Claw alloy, the same thing goes for the charged one, and the same thing goes for the sanctified one as well. But if we downgrade to quality 2 materials, we have just barely, with 2 skill points to spare, breached through to get guaranteed quality 2. So you could even spend only 8 knowledge points, for example, into here. So 8 knowledge points into means of production just to get yourself over the edge to guarantee quality 2, which at the moment we are 2 skill points ahead of, because you need to have 263 to guarantee tier 2. Now from here you would spend your concentration. Now I don't have enough right now on the beta, but we can fix that. So I could spend my concentration right now to get guaranteed quality 3 outcomes, and by proccing, for example right here we have 1 ever burning ignition right now, so I'm gonna make one, or like proc one, so now we have a 30-minute buff, and that 30-minute buff just gave me 11% multicraft and 27% resourcefulness while I'm crafting it. And this is even without having a good tool, because on my tool I would much rather want to have multicraft than resourcefulness, for example, when you're crafting it. So a tool with resourcefulness and even grabbing the resourcefulness enchant on the tool, so multicraft as the main stat and resourcefulness as the enchant on the tool, and then just mass crafting during these 30 minutes or spending your concentration. Now we would have to spend 200 concentration right here. Actually no, go back to quality 2 materials, 328. That means you can do 3 of these when you have full concentration, which I'm guessing is about every 2 to 3 days, so you can then just spend all of your concentration to guarantee quality 3 alloys with quality 2 materials. And even though the core alloy might not be the most important one here, take a look at this one, the sanctified alloy. This requires Iron Claw ore at quality 3, which, believe me, will be hard to come by when it comes to the launch itself, and you can downgrade from quality 3 to quality 2 here, saving yourself a bunch of gold. And the same thing goes to the core alloy, instead of using quality 3 core alloys in this craft, which, once again, you would have to use your concentration to make this, or be absolutely specced out of your mind, like I just showed you on the previous character, to make guaranteed quality 3 core alloys. So you can go down to tier 2 or quality 2 alloys, and in this case we are a little bit over. Actually, let's go down here as well, so there we go. Now we are just barely over the benchmark to get quality 2 sanctified alloys, but we can once again use 422 concentration to guarantee them at quality 3 by using quality 2 materials instead of quality 3. In this case we can only do this twice when we have full concentration, but if you also spec into, for example, the Ever Burning Forge and go here, you will just basically get more ingenuity and get more concentration back whenever you spend concentration when you proc ingenuity. So the exact strategy that I'm going to be doing here is have a bunch of blacksmiths, well, not a bunch, but like 5 blacksmiths set up to make alloys on a pseudo daily basis, where they spend their concentration to make alloys at the highest quality they can, aka quality 3, by spending lower quality materials, in this case quality 2 materials, which are going to be a lot more accessible and a lot more in supply than the quality 3 ones, and therefore they will also be way cheaper, giving me a lot more profit on my quality 3 crafts when I use quality 2 materials instead. And for this we can do sanctified alloys, charged alloys, the Iron Claw ones, or the core alloys. And when it comes to why I'm doing this specifically with alloys, alloys are used in a bunch of crafts. Think about professional equipment, which blacksmithing is absolutely fantastic for, by the way. you need a bunch of alloys. The Iron Claw alloy right here, for example, you want these, and when you're making professional equipment, it's once again a huge recipe difficulty for this, and you want to use quality 3 materials to get quality 5 crafted items. That's going to be absolutely mandatory, by the way, so they want to use quality 3 alloys, and they need 5 of them. The same thing goes for this one as well, they need 4 of them right now, but once again, they need quality 3 to get this to quality 5, and not only that, you also have the weight stones, for example, using core alloys once again, so you can sell the core alloys as well at quality 3, and this one has a 515 recipe difficulty, and they want to get this to quality 3 because this one directly impacts your player power. Quality 3 is 1140 attack power, quality 2 is 971. Anyone who wants to use this and cares about their throughput wants to have these consumables at the highest quality possible. Now, I said I wanted to do the same thing with Alchemy as well, so I have set up a Alchemy Specialization here to do the same thing, and for this we are putting in a minimalistic spec for knowledge points, which means at the moment I've put in the least amount that I can to benefit as much as I can by spending concentration, so we have 20 knowledge points spent into Fantastic Flask, just to unlock both sub-specs. Now, one of them focuses on multicraft, the other one on resourcefulness and the spillover mechanic, basically giving you more gold back, saving more gold, and giving you more flasks through multicraft procking. Now, after you have spent these 70 knowledge points right here, feel free to max this one out, obviously, for more skill points, and then you can go down to Alchemical Mastery, for example, for even more skill points. Like this one right here, maxing this one out with 50 points, just gives you a bunch more skill points, which will then allow you to downgrade materials even more. But even with the 70 skill points I've currently put in myself, we are able to make, for example, the if we take a look at this one, 755 for the Alchemical Chaos, but for the Tempered one, the Flask of Tempered Aggression, aka Critical Strike, we can currently make this at quality 3. Now, I can downgrade this to quality 2, for example. I can even downgrade Orbinids to quality 2, but I cannot currently downgrade my vials to quality 2. That will take me too far. So the more skill points you have, once again, the more quality materials you can drop down from quality 3 to quality 2, and then you can spend your concentration over here as well to make gold by making guaranteed quality 3 flasks with downgraded materials, and the more skill points you have, the lower quality materials you can spend, and the less concentration you will spend as well, the more skill points you have. Now, it's worth noting that concentration will be individual from profession to profession, so over here you can see we have alchemy concentration, over here we have blacksmithing concentration. This means you want to spend both, so you want to have concentration characters, like 2 professions for concentration usage, on the same character. So you want to have a concentration spending character, if that makes sense. And make sure you take advantage of concentration. You don't only have to do this on blacksmithing plus alchemy, do it on everything. Use concentration wisely, make profit. It gives you guaranteed gold, basically, every single day. And personally, I think blacksmithing is a really underrated gold-making profession, especially due to the alloy crafting that I just talked about, and spending concentration on alloys will be an absolute gold-making, very good gold-making strategy at the beginning of the expansion. At least I'm speculating so, and I can't wait to see how much gold this will make, and how much profit you're able to make when you spend concentration on, for example, sanctified alloys, making sanctified alloys at quality 3 with using quality 2 materials. I can't wait to see how much gold that actually ends up making on a daily basis when you spend your concentration. Now, the same thing goes for any one of you who are planning to use alchemy, for example, to use thaumaturgy for transmutes. Spend your concentration, because transmutes doesn't spend concentration, or you don't have to at least. Spend concentration on flasks. I really do believe that spending concentration on flasks will be a very good way to make gold at the start, but also throughout the entire expansion. Flasks will always be in demand, and by downgrading the quality of the materials, you are literally just reducing the cost of the crafting itself, while once again guaranteeing the highest quality throughput on the craft themselves. Now that's basically what I have for you today, one of the final theory crafting videos on the beta itself before the expansion goes live. It's only 2 days left and I honestly don't feel ready, but at the same time I do feel ready. It's a weird feeling. I hope you're as excited as I am, and I hope we are all going to be having a blast at the early access, those of us who are playing. And if you're not playing, don't worry, we are basically beta testing the launch before the actual launch, and I can't wait to see you in game. Either way, thank you for watching, I really do appreciate it. We are also getting super close to 50,000 subs, by the way, and if we get there through the War Within hype, that would be insane, considering I just recently came back to retail from Classic, and we could not get to 50k with Classic content. Can we get to 50k with retail content? You let me know. Either way, thank you for watching, I really do appreciate it. I will see you again in the next video very soon.